These are platforms where citizens are now having discussions around issues of governance, but then also issues of the election. So we hope to hear how government plans just to ensure that that space also remains very free and open. We did have some challenges. So when we look at the national values and principles and the use of social media, these national values and principles are for yourself and myself, but then every citizen of the country to follow and to actually abide by, because they describe what sort of a citizen we should be and our duties. So we expect that even as we are interacting on these platforms, we follow our issues on morality and ethics, whether we are just citizens or we are professionals or not. We expect that there will be some form of morality and ethics as described in the Constitution. But also issues of patriotism. I think that is one of the other values. But there's also the value of good governance, which is very important when it comes to the digital space, the issues of access to information for citizens to have, especially it's an election year, so it's important for citizens to have accurate information, but then also have government institutions share this information accurately and in time, so that citizens are able to get the truth from them and not using these alternative platforms on these social media platforms that we have that may not be producing accurate information.
Thank you very much for still watching Parliament TV, and that is Bloggers of Zambia, indeed just talking with Maketo Emasiko. And maybe this time around, as we're still waiting for the President to make his way to the National Assembly of Zambia, and of course later on at 09:45 to address the House and indeed the nation, we'll just take a look at some of the issues that he touched on principles, values and principles when he addressed the House last year. Claudette.
Absolutely. So the Constitution under, Article 8 outlines the national values and principles as follows. That's morality and ethics. So we expect the President to touch on these particular, principles and values, patriotism and national unity, democracy and constitutionalism, human dignity, equity, social justice, equality and non-discrimination, good governance and integrity, and lastly, sustainable development. So like Muta did mention, we'll just go through, last year's, speech in case you missed his address last year, or just to recap and refresh our minds regarding, what the President, talked about last year. We'll do that just now as we wait for his arrival here at National Assembly.
Okay, and just before he started giving out his address, he did want to emphasize on the importance of these national values and principles. He did say that these are very important, essential in guiding our behavior, not only as citizens, but also as a whole country. So he said it was essential in guiding our behavior, building our character, and indeed promoting social cohesion. So that is what he emphasized was the importance of these national values and principles.
And so under morality and ethics, the President did say that to promote a morally upright and ethical nation, social issues needed to be addressed, among them alcohol, substance abuse, child marriage, teenage pregnancy, gender-based violence, and cyber crimes and bullying. These are the issues that we actually talked about just as we started this live broadcast, issues of, gender-based violence. Remember, Families Our Nation's country director did touch on, some of these issues and called for stiffer punishment for, would-be offenders of defilement, for instance. And so the President last year did say that to tackle alcohol and substance abuse, especially by, the young people, government working with various stakeholders actually did sensitize 4 million citizens, countrywide. And so regarding that sensitization, we yet to hear what the President is going to say regarding the progress that has been made with the sensitization that, was done of nearly 4 million citizens regarding, alcohol abuse.
Another thing that he talked about when was when he expressed his concern with a new form of violence, and this he said was cyber crimes and bullying, a new form of violence. And I'm sure, I think probably many people have complained about such a vice. Another thing also he talked about was scammers. The scammers saying that this is an escalation of sophistication when it comes to scamming, especially mobile money services. I'm sure many of us have been victims. So as Claudette, what's your experience?
I've had a lot of messages that have been sent to me. You won this kind of money, and I'm like, I never entered any competition, so how do I get to but some people actually fall prey to such vices, and it's very unfortunate. So
yes, that's very unfortunate. So on our screens we have those pictures there in the chamber, and we've seen that the members of parliament are indeed still in the chamber as directed by Madam Speaker, and waiting patiently for 0945 when he's going to address the nation and of course through the House. So the service chiefs should of course be in Parliament premises today, and we'll be giving you more details on many of the arrivals that will come. The President has arrived at Parliament grounds, which is a good thing for us because we know the President is guest number 1 for today, a very important day in the parliamentary calendar.
Absolutely, and he's the President there. He's going to be received by the Speaker of the National Assembly, that's Dr. Nelly Muti. And before the President actually enters the chamber to address the nation and the House, he's going to go to the Speaker's chamber as per tradition. Every time we have a visitor, high-profile visitor, they actually go to the Speaker's chamber, exchange a few words, and there's going to be signing in the the visitor's book. And when that process is done, we do expect the President to come through to the chamber for the long-awaited address. So members of Parliament sharing 1 or 2 words as they wait for the arrival of the President, who is already here at Parliament buildings. And in case you've just joined us, business has been suspended until the address starts at about 9:45 hours. And so members of Parliament and invited guests have been asked to remain in their seats. Of course, members of Parliament are taking memorable, pictures.
Yes, taking memorable pictures. It's not an ordinary day.
Absolutely.
Of course, we do know every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday they do come here, but that's for just ordinary business in the House. But today is special because the President will be a part of this gathering, and of course, and it only happens twice a year when he officially opens Parliament, and today when he has to make an address, just giving the progress made in the application of national values and principles.
And so there you have it. That's the President being led by the Sergeant at Arms, and they are making their way to the Speaker's chamber, and thereafter we'll see the President enter the chamber for the address. And so, like we mentioned earlier, we were just going through the speech, the presidential speech that was delivered last year, and we were looking at some values and principles that are outlined in the Constitution. We looked at morality and ethics, and under that, cases of gender-based violence in the country remain high. The President did state, and that he did say that this actually affects lives, and dreams are shattered of very young people, and therefore government is implementing the National Gender Policy and strengthening enforcement of the Anti-Gender Based Violence Act to reduce incidences of the vice. And government has continued to support victims of GBV through provision of counseling, service, legal aid, and safe spaces. And these are some of the issues that were brought out from some members of the public, that we talked about. We keep on talking about, these issues year in and year out, and I'm sure there's need for stiffer punishment to deter, people from, engaging in such horrible vices.
Yeah, you know, Claudette, something that really strikes me is if someone is, you know, going through GBV, then they decide to keep quiet. Why are you keeping quiet? Today you go through GBV, you keep quiet. Next time it happens, you still keep quiet. So it was in that line, actually, that the president said, urged everyone to report cases of GBV. And another thing, Claudette, that he talked about, earlier on I was talking about scammers, but the president did say that the government was actually creating a safer online environment by strengthening legislation, which you rightly talked about, and the government would not actually relent in its efforts to restore sanity in the digital space, as it was for the good stability of the country. So another moral, another value and principle is patriotism and national unity. What did you talk about last year? Yeah, so on patriotism and national unity, he did actually say that, you know, they play a pivotal role in shaping and nurturing a strong nation. And he did indicate actually that the key factors in fostering national development, which helps in achieving our collective aspirations as a people. One thing that really pops out when I listen to, or when I hear national unity, is something that he talked about, the national symbols. And these national symbols that the president actually talked about included the national flag. As a patriotic Zambian, are we proud enough, you know, to just lift the national flag, just you know, just display the Zambian colors? Another symbol was the national anthem. National anthem. How do we sing it? How do you sing it as you know, as a citizen? So those are just some of the symbols: the national flag, the national anthem, the national motto, and the public seal. And you know, Claudette, one Zambia, one nation. I remember the president added something else. That was it. One people.
One people should be one people. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one Zambia, one nation, one people.
Okay. And under human dignity, equity, social justice, equality, and non-discrimination, President did say that government is remains actually committed to upholding human dignity, equity, social justice, and non-discrimination. And these principles, according to the president, he did say that they are fundamental in fostering peace, unity, and socio-economic development in the country. And so, if you have seen across the country, a number of schools have been, you know, constructed just to ensure equity, to enable, you know, give a chance to each and every person at least to attend school, to, you know, get an education. Health facilities are being constructed, maternity annexes, police posts and feeder roads are also being rehabilitated, and market shelters, talk of, you know, crossing points, deep tanks, water points, and sanitation facilities. Financial development that is being in you know, action, just to ensure that people have a share of, you know, good shelter, good sanitation, you know, for instance, and that falls under human dignity, equity, social justice, equality, and non-discrimination.
Still on that, Claudette, I think last year the president actually did, you know, say that the free education policy is bearing fruit. And this was actually seen when there was a lady, a 42-year-old lady from Solwezi, if I remember her name, I think Dorothy Kamisha. She was from Solwezi and had gone back to school in grade 9. That is, you know, that is a good thing. Education is an equalizer, and so the president was actually did proudly indicate that the free education policy was bearing fruit.
Absolutely. So on good governance and integrity, the president did say that the citizens are increasingly expecting immediate access to services, and citizens are also expecting transparency and direct engagement with the government. And so government did launch the Citizen Support Service Portal, and the portal is fostering real-time engagement between, you know, citizens and the government. And there's been an increase in electronic services available on the government service bus from 300 in 2023 to 321 in 2024, and the increase has made, you know, access to improving efficiency in delivering, you know, public service.
And then another thing that the president talks about was sustainable development, saying that the government's pursuit of economic prosperity, sustainable development was indeed an important imperative, and that this was even more critical in the wake of the devastating impact of climate change, saying that climate change has threatened the national food, energy, water security, as well as biodiversity, and that climate change has disrupted the development efforts and highly contributed to the increased cost of living. So those are some of the things that the president talked about, and I hope that you know that you'll still be with us to get to listen to more things that he is going to talk about this year. But in case you've just tuned into Parliament TV, we appreciate your viewership. Thank you very much for choosing the station that is indeed dedicated to bringing Parliament closer to you. So my colleague Claudette and I are just giving you a summary of some of the things that the president talked about last year when he delivered his speech, of course, just informing the House and the nation on the progress made in the application of national values and principles.
All right, so in case you've just tuned in, the president is already here at Parliament buildings. That's him in the Speaker's chamber, exchanging one or two words, and thereafter he's going to sign in the visitors' book and then make his way into the chamber. So he's expected to start addressing the nation and the House at 9:45 hours, and so business has been suspended until the president enters the chamber and gets to address the House and the nation at about 9:45. And so the Constitution under Article 8 outlines the national values and principles as morality and ethics, patriotism and national unity, democracy and constitutionalism, human dignity, equity, social justice, equality, non-discrimination, good governance and integrity, and sustainable development. So the president has just signed in the visitors' book. We wish we could all see what he has actually, written in that book. But yeah,
we can only leave that to our imagination.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what has happened so far, and maybe just we've talked about what happened, what he said on the floor of the House last year. But in concluding, the president did actually say that the journey is far from complete, and the progress the government has made is part of the foundation upon which it must build a better Zambia, and this foundation upon which peace, unity and prosperity must forever be anchored, and that the journey requires determination, passion, courage, with focus, and with focus, he did say we definitely are going to get there. So peace, unity and prosperity must forever be anchored, and that with focus the country will get there. So that is just in summary what the president did say last year when he addressed the House and indeed the nation on the progress made in the application of national values and principles.
And so in a few minutes from now, we do expect the president to come through to the chamber, of course, accompanied by the speaker and being led by the sergeant at arms. And so business has been temporarily been suspended until they address various stakeholders, invited guests, that is, members of the diplomatic corps, members of some political parties, some non-government organizations are here to listen to the presidential address. I know a number of people have their expectations regarding the address, and immediately after the address we'll get reactions from some invited guests and some members of parliament just to hear what they'll have to say regarding the address by the president, to hear if their expectations are going to be actually addressed during this particular address. So you can always join us after the address just to get reactions from some members of parliament and of course some invited guests. So in a few minutes from now we expect the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to address the nation and the House on the progress made in the application of national values and principles.
Okay, so on our screen there we see MPs patiently waiting for 09:45 hours when His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia makes his entrance into the chamber to, of course, deliver the speech that many of us, I'm sure, are waiting to listen to, just to listen to the contents of that speech. So as Claudette did indicate, this is one of the very important days in the national calendar, and of course, apart from this day when the president comes here, another day is when the president officially opens parliament at 9:45. We expect him to address the House and indeed the nation. If you've just tuned into Parliament TV, we're saying welcome. This is the place to be. This is the place to be. Watch parliamentary deliberations as we bring Parliament closer to you. We always say you can follow us on Parliament TV on DSTV channel 272, not forgetting on GoTV channel 28. On Topstar, you can catch us on channel 05. We also have social media platforms, Claudette. Yes, indeed, we have our Facebook page, National Assembly of Zambia Facebook page, and the YouTube channel. So it's a National Assembly of Zambia, the YouTube channel. But as we always say, we, as the National Assembly of Zambia, we also have, the radio. So you can also follow the radio and follow deliberations via our website, www.parliament.gov.zm. And of course, many places in the country where you can follow the deliberations on Parliament Radio. Remember, we are here to bring Parliament closer to you.
So in last year's address, as the President concluded his speech, he did say that a Zambia free from discrimination, gender-based violence, teenage pregnancy, corruption, and cyber crimes and bullying is attainable. A prosperous Zambia anchored on our national values and principles is achievable. And so indeed, we can actually, achieve and attain all these if we get to unite and, work together. So we are yet to hear what the President has to say regarding the progress made in, issues such as, gender-based violence, issues of, teenage pregnancy. There are certain provinces that, rate high in terms of numbers of, girls that, get pregnant. So we're to hear what is being done to stop this vice, among many other issues. And so there you have it, the Sergeant at Arms leading the President of the Republic of Zambia and Speaker of the National Assembly into the chamber as the address is about to begin.
Honorable members of Parliament, Mr. President and Madam Speaker.
Achituamo. We may take our seats. Achituamo. Yeah. Achituamo. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, the House would like to welcome to the Assembly the President of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema.